Welcome to Be Lifted Up Radio, your guide to living an abundant life. I'm your co-host, Alfred Edmond Jr., and once again, I am blessed and happy and joyful to welcome my guest co-host, Dr. Cheryl P. Williamson. It's always a joy, whether we do it virtually or in person. We just love spending time around each other. So what's going on with you? What's going on?
First, I have to honor you for having me here today, co-hosting with you. I'm just thrilled. I was thrilled from the moment I got the invitation, and I'm just honored. I have some amazing things going on. So, of course, the summer issue of Cheryl Magazine just dropped, and we have Egypt Sherrod on the cover. So that will start going into the mail this week. I'm excited about that. And then I just completed my first season of my new podcast, Ageless, Fearless, and Unscripted. And I have you to thank for that, because you let me see what's possible if I believe and be lifted and keep everything before the Father, and I'm grateful for that. So I'm super thrilled to be here with you, my brother Alfred. I appreciate you.
The title of your show just describes just who you and I are. So I'm
yes
to be checking it out. But listen, very excited today. We have somebody coming on who is going to talk to us about what to look for in terms of financial services, a financial services company, what we should be looking for in a financial pro. And it's about building an abundant life. So this is going to be great information. And we're going to learn what a financial cook is. So listen, everybody, this is Be Lifted Up, your guide to living an abundant life. We got a great one lined up for you. Sit tight, and we will be right back. Hello and welcome to Be Lifted Up Radio, your guide to living an abundant life. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. here with our amazing guest co-host, Dr. Cheryl P. Williamson. And today's guest and today's topic, if y'all know me, y'all know this is near and dear to my heart, because I've been 4 decades in it, Black Enterprise, as a business and financial journalist. I get to talk to brothers like this guy all the time. And I want to underscore, Cheryl, that often we want to solve problems and get things done, but we don't always appreciate the value of getting professional help to help us do it. I mean, you're a coach, you're a mentor, you provide advice on so many levels on success, but you are a professional. I do that a lot, both in my work at Black Enterprise and mentoring and coaching entrepreneurs. And one of the things I have to tell people, and I had to learn, actually from experience myself in the case of financial services, is that even Serena Williams has a coach. Even Simone Biles is coached. The best people doing the best in the world are coached. And so often we either, because we think we're saving money if we do it on our own,
yes,
or not. Or we waste a lot of time wondering why we can't figure it out. And so I always tell people, if the best people in the world at what they do are still coached, that should be the signal to you that you're not going to get to where you want to go without, even no matter how smart you are, no matter how educated you are, no matter what kind of experience you have. It takes somebody like a Cheryl P. Williamson who can see from the outside of you and say, as a Serena Williams coach might say, you don't see it, but the way you're swinging this racket at this angle is not getting you what you want. You don't see it because you're doing it. And so again, I'm excited because we're talking about a financial professional and a financial company that can help us live an abundant life. I mean, what say you?
Absolutely, because I know my brother, and I love that we're having this conversation today, because we're about to go into a new month, new money, new expenses. And I think about the fact of all the things I learned at 40. If I had known them at 25, it would be more money in the retirement. Living trust would make more sense. And so I know that this segment that you put together, Alfred, is going to bless people, because Everybody who will listen will be able to take something away in order to put them in a better financial situation. So having the financial cook, Mr. Gilbert Peacock, here with us, that's going to be the game changer. So I'm excited. You always have great guests. I'm really excited to be a co-host with you because every single time you have great guests. So I know today is going to be no different.
But we're going to share that love with our producer, Gwen Franklin, the creator of Be Lifted Up Radio, because
Yes.
she be helping me find guests for my work at Black Enterprise. I mean, Gwen, give her my information. So we're all doing that. But listen, without further ado, let's bring on the founder, who's at the helm of Freedom Financial Advantage, LLC, the financial cook. We're going to learn more about that. Gilbert L Peacock, who's joining us to talk about what to look for when we're looking for great service from a financial services company. Welcome to the show, Gilbert.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. Be Lifted Up. Thank Miss Gwen Franklin. Thank you, Brother Alfred. Thank you, Dr. Williamson. God bless you all. I think you all have some roots to New Jersey. Is that right?
Okay. I was born and raised in Long Branch, New Jersey.
Yeah.
I now split my time between New Jersey. Well, I work in Manhattan, obviously New York metro area, New Jersey and Chicago. But yeah, I'm a Jersey boy.
Okay. Excellent. Well, it was so nice for Barbara and I that we actually were there twice. We were there from 83 to 91 and then back again from 93 to 95.
All right.
I really enjoyed it, and that was probably the most blessed time for our daughter in terms of her growth and blooming out of New Jersey. So we have fond memories.
Oh, thanks. I love that. I'm a Jersey boy. It's like weird. I'm a Jersey boy born and raised. I'm a Brooklyn guy for my first 20 years of adult life in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I spent my time in Chicago, but again, Jersey's always going to be home. So I appreciate that. But listen, we're here to talk about, I think, a very critically important topic when we talk about faith and finance and abundant life. And that is not only taking your finances seriously, but knowing what to look for in terms of getting professional help to achieve your financial goals. So as we dig into that, talk about who you are and the journey you took to establish your company, Freedom Financial Advantage.
Okay. For me personally, I'm originally from Tallahassee, Florida. I'm the youngest of 3 kids. My mom was an educator for 41 years in the public school system and retired. And then she went and spent another 10 years at the community college level and taught until she was 75. So she always had that emphasis of education and, motivating yourself and bettering yourself through awareness and training and so on. So that's always been important. Mom and dad were a great team. So once college finished, I had a business degree in marketing. I spent 27 years in the chemical industry. But I always had this affinity and fixation for numbers. So once I left the chemical industry after 27 years, then, you always get to the point of what's next. And there was a book written by a gentleman, I think it was Bob Baxter out of Dallas, Texas, during the days of cable TV. And he got to that end point where he said, what's next? And he said he was going to go from pursuing success to pursuing significance. And for me personally, I felt the transition from the chemical industry was my success days. And then when I went over into finance, I thought it was more about significance, because to me, it's more of a mission in terms of trying to educate people and make them more comfortable with their finances, to have them be better prepared so that they can not only take care of themselves, but prayerfully also leave legacies.
That's a powerful thing, because it's so important that we leave a legacy and a footprint. Many times when we want to leave a legacy and a footprint, it's about what we leave in this earth. who we can give it to, how we deliver it. So, Mr. Peacock, if you could walk us through, what does it mean to you to leave a financial legacy into the earth that will go into generations?
Okay. I think while it can be assets, to some extent, a lot of it can actually just be knowledge. There's so many things that, as the scripture says, we perish for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
So there's so many opportunities. Like the first time that we actually purchased a home was a shared conversation between a coworker and I in the chemical industry. And we were talking about the opportunity for us to move from Denver, Colorado, where we got married, to Long Island, New York, to take this sales territory. And in turn, we were thinking, okay, we're going to end up in New York and we're going to rent a house. So someone there took the time to mention FHA financing for a home, which meant you only had to have 5% down rather than a conventional loan of 20%. So the hurdle was much lower once I heard that, and we kind of acted on that information and got started with our initial home purchase only about a year after our marriage. So we purchased a home in Long Island as a result of that knowledge. So this transferred knowledge that we have the opportunity to, when you're in the presence of someone that knows more than you know, I always enjoy being a sponge personally, to try to absorb as much as you can. So I'm excited to be a sponge today to pick up on what you all are doing and what you've done in your career.
Never ceases to amaze me how many people, and again, I've been a financial journalist for now almost 40 years, how many people who are doing really great work in the financial services industry either are former teachers or they came out of, parents who were teachers and they saw themselves as educators first before they got into the industry. So listen, hold that thought, because that's what this show is all about as well, really educating people, giving them the wisdom to be able to make better decisions for that abundant life. This is Be Lifted Up, your guide to living an abundant life. I'm here with my guest host, Dr. Cheryl P. Williamson, with the financial cook, Gilbert Peacock, and we will be right back.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I want to go ahead and encourage you, if you don't have a pen and paper out, you need to go ahead and get a pen and paper out, because our guest is dropping nuggets. I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Alfred for allowing me to be here as his co-host today, because I am already excited about the nuggets that Mr. Peacock is going to share with us, because even though I'm 57, I still need financial information so that when I get a little bit more up in age, I'm ready. So Mr. Peacock, I want to jump right back in with asking you if you could share with us 5 things that you feel like business owners can implement right now in their business so that they'll be financially successful and sound when they want to expand or go into a different opportunity. What can they do to make sure that their business is financially sound in order to expand their business?
Okay. First and foremost, I think if you're an individual or even if you are a company, you start with the basics. And to me, the basics is a budget. I'm a person that from the education standpoint or from the standpoint of having people remember things in a systematic approach, I like to create acronyms or isms or acrostics. Isms to me stands for insightful spiritual messages. So the word budget, if I expound on it, means that B stands for you bring, the U stands for under, the D stands for dominion, the G stands for greed, the E stands for emotions, and the T stands for temptations. Usually when we get out of control in our businesses, most of the time because we really haven't established any boundaries for ourselves in terms of a budget, to the extent that either you're overspending or either you haven't acquired enough income and revenue in generating new business and so on. But there are some 5 core principles that I have listed in our website, and so I'll share those. So the first one is the fact that you should know who you're dealing with. So you got to have some way of going out to vet who this person is that you're willing to talk to. Either you should have gotten a referral or you should have gotten somebody that's worked with that person before. I mentioned earlier some fondness for New Jersey, and the reason for that is, in my case, is back probably 19 years ago, we had this former principal from New Jersey, and his wife moved to Charlotte, and then 4 sets of couples followed them down to retire in North Carolina. So over time, we got to meet them, and over time, all of them became our clients. But that was all on the basis of the referral and being able to work with someone you trust. The second part of that is you should believe in the company, whoever that individual is representing. So you should be able to hear from the ground or from social media or get some understanding of who the company is that's being represented to you. And I don't mean just my personal company, but even the companies that I would represent. So if you're familiar with those companies, you go out and check their ratings to see if they're A+ or B+ and what their financial stability is. You need to know the company. The third one is you should understand the product or the strategy that's being proposed to you. Everything does not suit everybody, and everything does not fit, everyone. So from time to time, you need to sit down and kind of discuss, well, my plan is one of more of, I need lifetime income, or my plan is I'm working on accumulation, or my plan is the fact that I'm concerned about long-term care, or my plan or my strategy is I'm concerned about legacy. So once you propose to that financial person that you're talking to what's of interest to you and so on, then they should be able to bring you some strategies or bring you some opportunities or products that help you to get the way you want to go. So that would be number 3. Number 4 would be you should be able to afford your decision. In most cases, we have a situation where people get classified in terms of their investment strategy. Are they more concerned about being aggressive? Are they more concerned about being moderate? Are they more concerned about being conservative? So one of the concerns is the fact that if you're trying to be aggressive, then that means you're going to present some money, put it at risk. But then if you lost that money or a portion of that money, can you still recover from that? Can you still meet your primary day-to-day living expenses? Are you still putting away money for emergencies? And then I think you got to also consider, when you look at your finances, not only just living expenses and not only emergency fund, but you got to think about your lifestyle. It's one thing to say I'm taking a vacation, but is that vacation going to be on a Greyhound bus? Is it going to be on a train? Are you going to be on an airplane? Are you going to be in coach? Are you going to be in first class? If you're on the cruise, are you down in the storage with the luggage? Are you up with a balcony, or do you have a stateroom? And can you afford all of those things? So I think you got to decide what you have an appetite for, but you need to also have your finances match that appetite. And you shouldn't go to a deficit in a vacation to the extent you can't recover and meet next month's bills, the next month and the next month and the next month. The old adage is typically you should be able to store up enough funds to carry your household. It used to be before COVID, the average person, you should have 6 months worth of funds stored up for emergencies to afford expenses. But I think a lot of that went away with COVID from time to time because people ended up being displaced that much longer.
Right.
So I think it depends on your job and your discipline to determine if you, rather than 6 months, you may need 12 months or 24 months of savings and reserves. Simply because when you get displaced, sometimes it takes longer to get a new position in a bad economy. The last thing here is it says, if your answer is no to any of these above questions, then you probably don't want to make that move on finances. So if you don't know the individual, you don't know the company, you don't understand the product, you don't understand the strategy, and if you can't afford your decision, then you probably need to rethink that, and maybe you're not ready.
That's such a great framework, because so many people are either they don't reach out for financial help, they don't reach out to a financial professional, because obviously we know that people have heard the stories of when I trusted the wrong person. And I always say that you have a framework for why you chose the person in the first place, you're far less likely to come out on the other side saying, I don't know what they did and I don't know why they did it. So it's just very, very important to start with a foundation of trust. But listen, we're gonna wrap up this segment, but I want to come out and talk about the principles of you and your team. That's the other thing I think is important for people to know. You have a team, but that team has to work along the same principles of integrity, skill sets, customer focus. You can't think one way and then you have people on your team thinking another way. And that's another way to evaluate whether somebody can provide good financial professional advice to you or not. So listen, sit tight. We are here with the founder and owner of Freedom Financial Advantage, Gilbert Peacock. This is Be Lifted Up Radio. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. with my sister, Cheryl P. Williamson. We will be right back. Welcome back to Be Lifted Up Radio, your guide to living an abundant life. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. with my guest host, Cheryl P. Williamson, and we are here with Gilbert Peacock, the founder of an amazing financial services company called Freedom Financial Advantage. I just like the title of the company too. Financial freedom, is I'm all about it. But listen, we wrapped up the last segment. We were talking about kind of understanding who you're doing business with, the values of the company, the values of the owner. But we also talked about how it's not just you as the owner of the company, but it's everybody who is in your operation sharing those same values. Talk about, your mission statement, your vision statement, your ministry statement, your motivational statement. And I'm going to say it right up front, everybody. You're going to know why we have Mr. Peacock on the show, because these are rooted in scriptural faith and values. And that's a very valuable thing to have in someone you're trying to trust with financial decisions about your life. But Gilbert, talk about that, your approach to your business, your approach to hiring people, and your approach to providing these services to your clients based on these statements.
Sure. For the most part, Freedom Financial Advantage was formed after having been in corporate America for 27 years. And for me, it has migrated to more of what I would call a financial ministry rather than a financial business. So as I consider it a financial ministry, it's on the premise that my definition and interpretation of ministry is always meeting people at their point of need. So in that same way, if I'm in the financial services business, in order for me to be the servant towards you, I need to understand what your needs are. And I want to attend to those needs so that we can satisfy them, so that you can feel comfortable and we can move forward together. So when we founded the company, we wanted a vision statement because we've always been told people perish for lack of vision. So our vision statement is actually scriptural, and it is Proverbs 13:22a, where it says a good man, and we take the liberty of saying or woman, leaves an inheritance for their children's children. So that means that you're not only concerned about your needs, but you're preparing for the next generation and the next generation in your decision making, and even in the knowledge and education that you pass along. So when we move from vision statement, then we move to what we consider to be our mission statement. And our mission statement is Jeremiah 29:11. And in that scripture, it says, God says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. So in that same way with Freedom Financial Advantage, our intention is we want you to have a plan. Plan for us is an ISM, PLAN, is preparation listing all needs. Plan, preparation listing all needs. And surely we have no intentions of harming you. And surely we want you to have hope and a secure financial future. So hope, HOPE, is the haven of people's expectations. So one of the most important things I think when you sit down with someone is to define what are your expectations? What are you expecting from the financial services company? And then what do we expect to deliver to you? So we also have a ministry statement, since we consider our financial business to be a ministry. So our ministry statement is also scriptural, and it's Matthew 6:33, where it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. All these things that we get concerned about. How am I going to get the car, the house, the funds, the clothes, the vacations? All of these things will be added unto you. If you put God first, then everything else follows. All right. So next, we took one step further. We have a vision statement. We have a ministry statement. We have a mission statement. We also have what we call a motivational statement. And a motivational statement is also scripture. It's Proverbs 14:23. And it says, all hard work is for profit, but mere talk leads to poverty. So the other things that we try to impress upon our teammates, while they know we come out of the formation of having a God-based business, and I really do truly believe that God gave me this business some 19 years ago. August 1st will be 19 years. And people say, well, how do you get your clients? And for us, I just say I get our company, our clients come from God, because he makes the right connection. He makes the right phone call, the right referral, the right contact, or whatever. And it just happens. And it's always been a blessing. And then we in turn try to be good stewards of what we receive. Not only do we fund back to the church community, but we try to fund to our civic community. We try to fund knowledge and information to other people. Our educational institutions, one of our happiest moments last year was we actually fully funded the Florida A&M alumni chapter for Charlotte, North Carolina. We funded their entire golf outing last year. Yeah. So that was a A+, and we really enjoyed it. We were better managers of our funds for this year. So what we did instead as an alternative is we purchased shirts and purchased all the caps, and we just donated those. So rather than fund the entire operation, we just picked out a critical segment and contributed to that. When we actually work with our people, many of the people that are actually agents are actually, some of them are former clients. So they know our values, they know our worth in the marketplace. Two things I try to impress upon them, primarily first and foremost, is to always be polite and to always be professional. Another thing that we try to do is AAA. AAA is we want to always be approachable. We always want to be available, and we always want to be accommodating. AAA.
That is also on point, and Cheryl. Some of the things that Gilbert is saying, I hear in my head. You're talking about if you're serving, you don't have to ask because people
Yes,
to you, but also this idea of approachability, Cheryl. And I'm going back to you for the next question. But so many times people are afraid to reach out to the financial services industry because of the perception they're going to make me feel stupid. They're going to ridicule what the mistakes that I've made, the things that I didn't know. And so this idea of approachability, and you deal with it too, Cheryl, because there's some people that won't even let you know they need the help that you have for them. But they don't
absolutely.
want to admit what they don't know, or they don't want to feel mistreated when it's all said and done. So
Right. And so Gilbert, I know we probably won't finish this question that I'm about to ask you in this
Sure.
segment. I want to just start in. So with Alfred and I, we always want to leave our audience set up for success. So what is a typical first appointment? What does that look like when somebody comes into you for the very first time? And I'm asking that question because I know that through Be Lifted Up, many people are going to be listening who may have no knowledge of financial services. So we want to set it up where they're in a position of power and they know what to expect when they come to you, Mr. Peacock, for the
Sure.
first time for an appointment.
Sure. And what I would have them know first and foremost is all of our consultations are free. So if nothing else, you're going to hopefully walk away better informed and have a better understanding of what it is you're currently doing. You will hopefully have an understanding of what you could potentially do or gain or grow in. And then furthermore, we know that because we are not a fee-based business, the only way that we get to grow our business is to have a satisfied client. And then that satisfied client in turn refers us to someone else. And that's how we basically have grown our business over the years. God has blessed us to the extent that we have clients in 19 states. We have 22 licensed agents currently in the business. So aside from the approachable, the available, and the notion of being accommodating, a lot of times when people try to measure their success, they think about the word BIG, big. So to us, what big means is the B means we first and foremost, we want to build a relationship. Secondly, we want to increase your knowledge. And then lastly, the G is we want to grow value. So if
yes,
we're not bringing any value to you or any worth to you, you're in a perfect position to say, hey, this isn't for me. It doesn't suit me. It doesn't fit me. But we'll do everything we can to accommodate and to service the client.
yes. Everybody, you're listening to Gilbert Peacock. This is Be Lifted Up Radio. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. with Cheryl P. Williamson. Sit tight. We got more. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your co-host, Cheryl P. Williamson, and I am honored to be here with my brother, my mentor, and my friend, Alfred, with Be Lifted Up Radio. And I don't know if you were on the last segment, but if you weren't, you need to go back and listen to it because we're going to jump right in. And even if we start right here, you're going to get information that you can use. So we told the people last time, get your pen and paper. We're telling you again, get your pen and paper available right now. Mr. Peacock, I was so excited on the break. I was trying to figure out what am I going to ask? And I know exactly what it is because it's what I would want. Based on what we've spoken about thus far, would you provide for our listeners three key takeaways that you want them to be able to implement right away as soon as we're off this segment?
Okay. We talked about budget earlier, and I think that's really important, but even backing up before the budget, is you kind of need to know, if you will, and this is not, is know your place. And your place is the fact that you need to know your time horizon. Historically, there's kind of a norm that if the IRS doesn't make your tax qualified funds available to you until age 59 and a half, then if we're using a measure, let's say if I'm 30 years old, and then in turn, I'm not going to have all of my tax qualified funds available until I'm around age 60, then that gives me basically a 30-year time horizon. Okay. If I'm 40 years old, and again, my endpoint is age 60, then I have a 20-year time horizon. If I'm 50, then I have a 10-year time horizon. So know your time horizon, because that's going to probably help determine your strategy. If we want to consider that business operates in cycles, and if we want to think of those cycles maybe in 10-year increments or decades, then maybe in my 30 to 40 decade, I can afford to be extremely aggressive. Then maybe by the time I'm 40 to my 60s, 40 to 50, maybe I want to be moderate. And then if I'm expecting to start taking my funds and making use of them at age 60, then between age 50 and 60, maybe I want to be a little more conservative. So again, with the notion of not putting all of your eggs in one basket, if you elect and have a position where you have a 401k, a 403b, a 457, those plans are available to you. Please participate in those plans. In particular, if your company is matching some of the portion of funds that you put away. There's so much money left on the table if you don't participate in gathering what they're offering. So if you're making $100 a month and they allow you to put up into the product 6%, and they're willing to match that first 6%, so you put away $6, they give you $6. So on your $100 a month salary, you just have $12, but you only put in $6. So you've just doubled your money. So why would you want to miss out on that opportunity? So participate in the 401k, so on. If you're looking to have funds outside of the company system and maybe have after-tax money and open up a Roth, if you're under age 50, typically you're going to have a cap of a max of $6,500. And if you're over 50, then you can put away as much as $7,000 a year. So maybe you can have two different strategies operating at the same time. If with your larger portion that's in your 401k or in your 403b or your company plan, maybe you want to be full out aggressive. And then if you want to be full out aggressive there, then maybe you're conservative with your IRA money. So then that way you got two different strategies going. Or if you say my 401k is my larger amount and I want to be safe with that, you could be moderate or conservative, and then you could afford to be aggressive with the IRA. So you can have multiple strategies because you can have multiple funds. So I would say that's very important, and that's one of the takeaways you want to have. Having a plan, like I said earlier, and a plan is preparation, listing all needs. So you want to sit down and talk about what's really needed. I'm going to need funds for my retirement. I'm going to need my Social Security. I highly recommend you go to ssa.gov and check your status on your Social Security. You can go in and you can go to the calculator and hit estimate my retirement. You can type in your information. You type in your Social Security. You type in where you were born, your mother's maiden name. And then in the next format, it asks you what was your approximate adjusted gross income last year. You post that, and then it will tell you, here's your Social Security at 62. Here's your Social Security at full retirement. Here's your Social Security at age 70. So I think that's really important to know. So then that way you understand when you retire, you're going to potentially have multiple streams of income. If you're blessed enough to work for a company that has a pension, That's one stream of income. If you're blessed enough to have a 401k, 403b, 457, whatever, organized from your job, that's another stream of income. Then Social Security could potentially also be another stream of income. So you want to know all of those streams. And I highly recommend earlier on the budget is if you're doing a budget, do a budget for your current status. But if you're also projecting that I'm going to be retired in the future, do a budget for your retirement. And then furthermore, if you're a 2-income household, take it to the next level and say, what if there's only one income available? Do a budget for that third scenario. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
So we're taking our budget to the extent of mirroring where we are today, where we project ourselves in the future, and then what if we're only one household or we only have one survivor. So that's planning ahead. That's giving you a calculator to work against. You're establishing boundaries, you're establishing goals every time you do a budget.
You know, that idea of coming up with contingency plans, contingency budgets, which companies do all the time. Large companies,
yes.
They say, if our sales go up this much, this is what we're going to do. If
right.
our sales drop, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
And if, you know, but either way, so it's because we can't predict the future, but at least we have an idea of what we would do.
Right.
And you know, so I love that idea. I love that concept because it's not that you know what's going to happen. It's that what would, you know, I used to tell, you know, readers of Black Enterprise, do a scenario where one of you did get laid off.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What would you do? What would you
yes.
go back to your understanding? What do you really need? What would you keep?
Right.
What would you change? And
right.
it's better to have that plan sitting in a drawer someplace and never pull it out than
right.
to be caught off guard and scramble. But the other
right.
thing I want to underscore for our audience is you're laying it out in a nutshell why getting professional financial help is so important. Because you said so many things, and some people, you know, I've been a financial journalist for 40 years. I understand everything you said. I still need help.
Yes.
But if you don't understand, the wrong thing to do is to turn away from the wisdom.
Right.
That's why it's important to say, you know, I don't understand it all, but if I can get a trusted financial advisor, a trusted financial professional who's operating, in our case, for our show, under godly principles of integrity, then they'll help me to understand everything you said about 401k, 403b.
Sure.
And so to that end, I definitely want you to tell our audience what's the best way for them to, you know, find your website, follow you on social media, and to pick up on everything that you're teaching through your business.
Sure. You can find us on Facebook at Gilbert L Peacock. You can find us on the web at callffa.net. And the FFA is freedomfinancialadvantage.net. So that takes you through all the vision statement, mission statements, all of that. You get to see bios on all of the people associated with us. We try to be very, as much of a one-stop shop as we can be with our clients, in that we operate a lot in the insurance space with a lot of our agents, but we also have a registered investment advisor. So people that want to take higher risk, we can facilitate that as well. That same individual that is a registered investment advisor, that individual is also a CPA, so, and owns 2 H&R Block offices. So we can give you some information on tax implications for your business and so on. One key point I want to make about pensions, as some of those that are getting closer to retirement and coming to the pension point in life, please make sure that your pension is available to multiple generations as beneficiaries. Many times these pensions are tailored only to pay for your lifetime and your spouse's lifetime. And if both of you are gone, the rest of your family never benefits from any of those funds. So if your company is giving you an option and they're limiting you in terms of who you can leave your funds to only you or a spouse, then you probably want to opt out, take that pension as a lump sum, place it within another vehicle, like in the insurance industry, an annuity, An annuity you can do per stirpes, and you can do multiple generations. So if the first generation is passed on, there's a contingent. That one is passed on, there's a contingent. That one's passed on, there's a contingent. So your family funds that you work your hardest for end up filtering down from generations to come.
Yes. Listen, you're dropping way more nuggets than this bucket can hold, but you're underscoring exactly why we need to reach out to great financial professionals like yourself to help us achieve our goals and live that abundant life. Gilbert, thank you for joining us on Be Lifted Up Radio.
Thank you very much. God bless you all. If I can leave you with one thing, like I said, my favorite devotional, and this is one of our playbooks, is Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. It's sold more than 40 million copies, and it's written in the first person as if God is talking directly for you, and he's talking to you with the intention of you having peace. So the word I would leave you with this evening is peace, and peace is prayerful energy acquiring calm environments.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
This is Be Lifted Up. We will be right back. Oh my God, we just had a great show with a great guest who's just shared so much wisdom here on Be Lifted Up Radio, Cheryl. What say you? I mean, we both are full.
You know what? You said it. Yeah. You said exactly, look, birds of a feather. I was going to say I'm so full. I am. Just everything about the segment, it blessed me. And listening to Mr. Peacock, he is the true definition of faith in the marketplace, right? Nobody wants to, a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but he is the true definition of faith in the marketplace, asking the questions, controlling our finances, controlling our budget, but in doing that, being in position to help and serve other people through the information that we got from him tonight. So Alfred, I'm excited for our viewers to implement the information. What about you?
Well, I live that Black enterprise life. The idea of financial education and financial wisdom and financial knowledge is so important to me personally and to the mission of where I spent the last almost 40 years of my career. So, it's just wonderful. But what I like about him, and my late grandfather, who was a preacher, said that some people have ministries of light, information, but no heat, no spirit. Some people have heat but no light. They have the spirit, but you don't learn anything from them.
Oh, yeah.
The best ministries, you get heat and light. And you're right, that's not just from the pulpit. This is a financial services company, credible in every way in terms of the technical information, but also is sustained by a spirit. It brings heat and light. Listen, everybody, you just heard another great edition of Be Lifted Up Radio with me and my great co-host, Cheryl P. Williamson. You can follow us at the letter B, Lifted Up Radio on all social platforms. You can listen to this show and all other episodes of Be Lifted Up Radio at the letter B, liftedupradio.com. You can go to the Mocha Podcast Network at mochapodcastnetwork.com. That's podcast plural. And you also can catch us on Sirius XM 141 HUR Voices. Listen, thank you for joining us. Take care of yourself. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.